Hello, 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 hello. And how are you? And how are you? Hello, hello. Hi. Good morning, gorgeous. Okay, so I'm gonna jump right in. And I'm gonna tell y'all that I don't know where my hook is. And right now, I think the hook is probably happy. I don't know where it is. So I probably threw it somewhere. Y'all, when I tell you that, now here it is. When I tell you that this blanket has given me fever, I don't understand how you can add to it and it gets smaller. I don't understand that. Somebody please make it make sense. Because last night, when I was talking to my dear sister Joan, we did a quick measurement. It was at like 37 inches. I added one round and it was 35 inches. I need Lori in here to explain that logic to me because the math ain't mathing. The math is not mathing. The math, it's not mathing. No, it's not. It's not even like 6, 7. Oh my goodness, y'all. Okay, I'm breathing. Okay, 34. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm scared to measure it. I am afraid to measure it. I mean, and I did have a thought. I did have a thought. Once I wash it, and I'm going to finish this row because right now it says it's at 40 inches, which is where I want it. This should have taken me 1 day blanket, has taken me 3 days. And I think that's what's frustrating me because they don't take that long. They don't take that long. Anyway, before we even get into that, hello, everybody. Hello. Wait a minute. I know I'm missing a whole lot of stuff, man. Let's get the TV set up. Hooty-hoo. Okay, I'm there. All right. Hi. All aboard. Come on in the den with Mama Cougar, aka Kitty Lane, your baby boomer from the peninsula in Virginia. And you are here aboard Create and Relate. Sit back, get your brewskis. Come on and let's take this cruisy. Okay, that's the second time today I have made reference to beer. This second time today. Sounds like I might need one. No. Y'all, I despise the taste of beer. I do. That is so nasty. That is so nasty. Give me a hard mixed drink any day. But beer, nah. So I don't even have everything that I had. I don't even have it close by. Everything that I finished this week. I did the neckerchief. I did some more stuff. I did. I promise you I did. I added the last round on the baby blanket. I did the neckerchiefs. I did not catch up on the thank you, sis. Oh, and I was working on the sister and brother blanket. I'm gonna work on the sister one today because the brother one is over there. And I'm gonna go ahead and finish this and toss it in the washing machine. That was the thought that I had. Anything past 38 inches, once it hits the washing machine and lays out flat to dry, it's gonna grow. So Tina, how are you? It's so good to see you too. Welcome in. Y'all, somebody please go grab Hadisha. Go pull her by her pinky toe and tell her I need to see her. I need to see her. I really do. So we're dealing with the smaller scale on the phone. For some reason I can see it. We're not gonna argue about that either. We happy. Happy, 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 happy. Yes. So we are resting tight at 545 subscribers. We're also at a little over 1550 in viewing hours. I did expect that to go back up because you know what I learned about me, guys? I need to change my voice or something that might help as far as pulling people in. Because when I turn me on, that's bedtime. I sound like I'm reading one more bedtime story. Huh. How many of you don't like the sound of your own voice? I don't. I don't. Yeah. I mean, like when I'm talking like right now, fine. But when it's played back to me on an electronic device, I'm like, oh my God, is that me? Oh, yeah. So on to B, which is breakfast. I did have pops this morning for breakfast. Me and the kids had cereal, and I had pops, which is one of my favorite. Um, my absolute favorite is honey bunches of oats, almond flavored. Excuse me, or with almonds. My second favorite is frosted flakes, and I like to add bananas to those. Oh, and on the health, and insurance. I don't like some of my own voice. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The tapping you hear in the background is my daughter. Oh, okay. As for C, I do not have coffee yet. I'm debating as to whether or not I'm going to drink coffee. I have a Pepsi sitting out there on the counter, and I'm trying to decide if I'm going to have Pepsi today. I don't know. I don't know if the kids are going to be picked up today or not. If they get picked up today, I don't know. But I did have a Red Bull, so that counts for C as far as caffeine. I had that early, so it won't be in the Pepsi. I can tell you that much. It might be one cup of coffee, but it's definitely not going to be in the Pepsi because I would drink that whole bottle. And it's a liter and a half, and that's too much. So I'm going to be good. I promise you, I'm going to be good. D, you saw me. You saw me sipping on the water, the great value purified drinking water. I told y'all I could be a Barker Beauty. As far as enlistees, you know my favorite game. Most of you are here or jump in here throughout the live. I just got through watching Michelle this morning with in their Stitch Circle. She always makes that so much fun. She really, really, really does. And guys, I want to tell you all based on that Thursday, this was the second Thursday I had a massive amount of fun with you all. It was just it was fun. It was so much fun. It really, really, really was. I like that. I like sitting here pulling questions or riddles or little jokes or whatever, trivia from the TV, from the computer, things that I see through regular life, people that I encounter that tell me what some people call useless information. I absolutely love it. I absolutely do. And to share that with you all, yeah, yeah. And to have fun doing it, it's a good moment. It makes the rest of the week go by so much better, even when you're having trouble with one of the simplest blankets out there. And then on top of that, let me tell y'all what happened, y'all. Okay, so what had happened was I have a banking system for my grandkids, and it seems to Lexi, how you doing, love? We're gonna have to groom you. Okay, wrong word. We're going to have to work with you on getting rid of that mess. It's just Kitty. It's just Kitty. But so like I said, I have a banking system or a check stub or however you want to call it, a payment. Um, I understand. I understand. Not only for you, I've been I've been sick. I've been sick since like last Friday. But we're getting better. The doctor tested for everything. And she says the only thing she can figure is a common cold. I think my worries were this new strand of death that they got going around. Um, Pneumonia, because I used to, at one point in my life, I used to get pneumonia twice a year, every year. And it miraculously stopped about 7 years ago. And I think I've had it once since then. Um, and then, of course, the big C. Those are my three big worries. I never was achy. I never had a fever. None of that. It's just been the congestion. So then I felt like, okay, it must be like really strong allergies. And then receiving a lot of yarn and knowing that some of the yarn comes from cat owners. I was like, okay, well, maybe that's it. But then I'm like, no, because when I have a reaction to cats, it's the puffy eyes. My eyes will swell up so big that the whites of my eyes make it impossible for me to close my eyes completely. Yeah. But I was out of it, but I wasn't aching. The only thing that hurt was the headache when I would cough. When I was coughing so hard that it was making my head hurt. And the one day I had a sore throat because it was the onset of the hard coughing. I still have a little bit of the cough. I still have to use my inhaler pretty much because anything I do outside of getting off this bed makes me feel like the last little bit of breath has left my body. So I have to open the bronchioles back up and suck on the little red pipe with all the albuterol inside of it so that I can breathe. Okay, you're telling everything. You know what? Y'all, I almost ran into a truck last Friday. Not yesterday, last Friday. Um, okay. So I had not been taking my meds like I was supposed to because my hydroxyzine would make me sleep a lot. So I wanted to try taking it a little later, which I did. And when I went to the bus stop, I was out of it. I was completely out of it. And on the way back home, we have two speeds. Well, in every speed in between, but the lowest speed is turtle. The fastest speed is rabbit. I had it on turtle speed because I was walking with the family. I had my grandkids and my daughter, and the four of us, the three of them walking, and I'm on my scooter, and we headed back to the apartment. Like 4 parking spaces from where I was sitting, there's this, in comparison to my scooter, huge Nissan Rogue sitting right there. It's black. It sits there every day. And all of a sudden I heard, "Mama, stop." And I stopped and I opened my eyes and I'm inches from plowing into the side of this parked SUV. So my daughter said to me, "Mom, can you make it home? Can you stay awake long enough to make it home?" I'm like, "Yeah." We turned it on rabbit and I flew home. And I crawled in the bed and went to sleep. But my daughter came up with the conclusion that from now on, we're going to take the hydroxyzine at night. And I really didn't want to do that because I try to take both of my meds together. I take a fluid pill along with anti-anxiety medication. It's so much easier to take them both together. And we may be able to work back to that, but it has done me so much better taking the hydroxyzine at night. It has. I just haven't been taking. Absolutely. Hello, John Parker. How are you? Nice to see you. Welcome in. Um, but the fluid pill, I've not been taking that for right now because I can't take the fluid pill at night. It's like defeating the purpose. The hydroxyzine is going to put me to sleep, and then 20 minutes after I go to sleep, I got to get and go to the bathroom. Really? No. Mm-mm. So I've been taking the hydroxyzine a little bit later. It's like, ooh. It's like I'll go to sleep, and when I wake up, I'll take it. And I noticed last night that when I woke up at 4:16 this morning, there was no going back to sleep until I think it was six something when I went back to sleep for like an hour. So I'm gonna push it out a little further and see if I'll stay awake because I really, if I take it and I take a nap and I'm good after the nap, then I'm good. I can do that. So we're working with it. But that made me forget about what I was saying. Oh, so the doctor said that it was none of these things, and I was worried about those three basic things. But it's like it gets better, and you almost feel like it's going away, and then you're right back to the runny beak and the coughing. Right back to the runny beak and the coughing, and then it goes away. Runny beak coughing goes away. Runny beak coughing goes away. Runny beak coughing. Okay, but you get it. So that's where we are. As far as finished items, like I said, I don't know. I have done so much moving things around. I entered one yarn holding area because what I'm going to have for the kids, that's what I was telling you. What I'm going to have for the kids over the summer is a library. I have a whole total books coming, and I'm going to put those over there on the 8 pocket shelf, and the kids will be able to. The library will be open on Saturdays from 12 to 4. They can come in and get a book, and the book is due by the following Friday. Both of my grandkids are avid readers. They love to read. So they have to return the books, or it's $1 a day until they return the books. They have to return the books to me. I already have a system in place as to how they're going to be separated. The ones that they've read, Even though I'm going to be writing these things down, I don't want to have to go back over the list and say, okay, you've already done this one. Okay, you've already done that one, yada, 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 so forth and so on. Now, which brings me back to the fact that we have them on this payment system. And what happens there is I have a ledger that's just for them. They get paid $260 a week. And out of that $260 a week, they have to pay taxes. Is it 230? No, it's $230. $230 a week. And they pay taxes, which is approximately 20%. So the $46 comes out right off the top. And then their infractions or their fines come off of that. That gets taken out before their money gets to them. And they get a little check stub with their money and everything. They know that when they get their money, they have to pay themselves first. Well, here is what happened this week. This is the bank. This is torn up, cut up pieces of construction paper in different increments so that I can pay them. And this is their paycheck money or their money that's left over. That's their little savings account where they have to put a certain amount in every week. This is where they pay their bills. Their bills include rent, groceries, utilities. I think that's it. I think I put all the utilities together. No. Groceries, rent, utilities, groceries, and household supplies. What a way to teach kids to stop wasting toilet paper. What a way to teach kids to stop soaking the whole roll of toilet paper. What a way to teach kids to actually use that sheet of paper towel to dry your hands instead of taking it, patting it, throwing it on top of the trash can. They have chores that they have to do when they don't do their chores. And this comes off daily. I have a daily checklist. If they don't do the things that they're supposed to do on their chore list, it's minus $2 a day. When they catch their little attitudes, when they fight, when they're not sitting at the table like they're supposed to when it's time to eat, if they're lollygagging when we ask them to do something, if they talk back, all of those things are dollar infractions. They come off. They come off. Thankfully, each one of them have money left over each week because 1 week, one of them had to dip into that money. They had so many infractions. And when they realized we weren't playing, because this translates to money a little further down the road, that's another incentive. When we look in this one, which is their savings, when we look in that one, once it reaches a certain amount, it turns into real money. Now they have one here that we call special. That's like if we go to the store and they see something that they want, then they can put money aside into that one. They cannot touch their savings. They cannot touch their savings. But they can save up by other means for if it's a toy that they see that they want. And once that money matches the amount of what it is that they want, then we'll do our best to put our little duckies together to make sure they get it. But we don't want them to think that they're just getting it just to be getting it. Well, what had happened this week was this got missing. So we spent yesterday creating more money. We pulled out the laminating machine and everything. And we're going to use the dry erase because we're going to eventually switch over to this. It's a lot easier to deal with. And we have to create a container to keep it in. When I say y'all, I've been busy, even though I've not been feeling well, I have been busy. I have. But it's been fun because getting them to help and, because these are extracurricular things and they get money added to their monies, it's great to see the work that they put in. And then when it's all done, They even look satisfied. When we did all that we did today between the 2 yarn shelves that I have, and we got yarn stuffed in the underbed storage containers, we got this shelf clean, and we got this shelf packed the way I wanted it packed, and a lot of things eliminated and out of the way. My grandson was like, "That looks good, Grandma." That looks so much better. So it really does. It looks good. It feels good. It makes them feel good that they help get it to that space. So it's just an idea if you want to do it. If you need help doing it, I don't mind helping you. I'll show you how we set ours up, and I don't mind doing that. It's just I realized at one point that I was never taught economics. No one ever sat down in the family and said to me, "Okay, this is what you have. Out of this, you need to go here, you need to go there." And as I was trying to teach myself how to budget, I came up, I ran across the spider thing where you have the big thing in the middle, which is your income, and then you draw the 8 legs of how your money goes out, how much is put into each extremity. And I tried it for a little while and I was like, it's a good idea, but I need something a little more descriptive, I think. And that was when and where I started learning to make spreadsheets. And I did that for ever. I made spreadsheets for a long time, but let me tell you what those spreadsheets did for me. And I was using Microsoft Excel. When I left my first husband, I was left in 5-digit debt. And using the spreadsheets that I created, and I would break it down what my income was. I had a list of my accounts, including account number, address, and phone number, how much I owed them, what I wanted to pay them, what I actually paid them, and then my balance. If there was any money left over for me, I had a little account at the bottom called miscellaneous. I would toss the money into there. If I spent my money up, it was gone. I couldn't rob Peter to pay Paul. What that did for me was drop my debt down from, I can tell you, over $70,000 to under $20,000 in about 3 years. Was I making that kind of money? No. But when creditors see you making an effort, especially this is before they got rid of the medical debt. But when they see that you're making an effort and that you're consistent, when you go to them and bargain with them, a lot of times they will say, debt paid, debt paid, because you've been consistent. And it's something that they can either write off or cover it through. Hospitals have charity funds. A lot of hospitals have charity funds, and a lot of those for those people who really cannot afford to. And when I would go in there sometimes and I'm making a $2.33 payment, it was because it was all I had. But when they saw that it was consistent, every week this lady is standing here in front of us making some sort of payment. So yes, when they came to it and I saw, and what I also started with the smallest bills, because when you tackle that big bill first, that big bill that can take you 2 to 3 years to get rid of, you're not seeing any progress. And lots of times the progress that you see motivates you to keep moving forward. So if I had a $14,000 bill here and a $140 bill here, I would go from the bottom to the top. And I'm giving everybody $5 until I get down to the last $2.33. And I would rotate that cycle, until I could not. I would hit like 8 to 10 places up until I had one completely gone. Once I had one of those little ones completely gone, then of course we can squeeze that line. I never eradicate that line because I need to go back later and look at it to make sure. I like double checking stuff. And after I would get rid of 5 of my debts, I would print it out so that in case something happened, I had a hard copy. So another idea. Got lots of them. Got loads of them. I had to teach myself how to stop drowning. I've struggled. God knows I've struggled. I don't know what possessed me. I'm glad it did in one sense. In the other sense, I ask myself frequently, what were you thinking? What were you thinking? Guys, I had 3 kids of my own, and I raised 35, 29 boys and 6 girls. That's no joke. That's that's no joke. And I didn't foster any of them. 2 of them were adopted legally. Others were steps, and those who trickled in. And I didn't realize I didn't realize the role I was playing into their life until they would come hit me up with things like, "Ma, I need senior dues. Ma, I need this. Ma, my shoes got a hole in it. Ma." And I'm like, oh my God, this child has been sleeping in my house for the past 2 years. I've been feeding this child for the past 2 years. But it's all good. And even with a track record like that, I'm happy to report that all of them except one graduated from high school. The one that did not graduate from high school ended up getting put out of school at the age of 21 in the 10th grade. And I fussed at him, and he said, "But Mom, it's boring." And I made a deal with him. I said, "Okay, so if I send you right now to take your GED, not go to school for your GED, but take your GED, you're going to pass it." He said, "I promise you, Mom." And we got those duckies together and took him, and he passed with flying colors. Became a department head in a grocery store in our area, and then he became a roving manager. And now he has retired. He has retired. Yes. And he calls himself a stand-up comedian. I'm going to go to one of his shows. I promise you I will. I support everything they do, but I have to perfect my laughing. I do. I have to work on that. I do. I have to work on that. Somebody is asking, what do you mean perfect your laughing? Because he's not funny. He's not funny. I love him dearly. I love him dearly, but he's not funny. Oh my goodness. So there we are there. Let me show you this baby so I won't keep folding it up and folding it, folding it up and folding it. So this Wednesday coming up, help me out, Joan. Is this Wednesday? I think this Wednesday is Wild Card Wednesday Challenge Week. Last week's challenge was Pete. Excuse me, y'all. Look in that box and see if the kerchief is in there. Look in that box. The red, white, and blue thing that I made. See if that's it laying on the bottom. No.
You can still show it.
This isn't what I'm looking for, baby.
Can I say hello?
No, you cannot say hello. Hello either. I know when somebody's saying, oh, that was me. We're trying to help him with his L's. Now say hello. Come say hello now that you can say hello.
Hello.
Because somebody's saying, oh, she's mean, though. I'm not. If I were mean, they wouldn't love their grandma so much. I found it. This is the project that is 5 in 1. This was the last challenge from week and a half ago. And the 5 challenges were: make a cotton make, peaches and cream. Make a red, white, and blue make. Red, white, and blue, called Beach House. Bye-bye. Make a neckerchief. Neckerchief done. Sew in your ends. Ends sewn in. And post it to that creator's content community post. That was done as well. And this is the neckerchief. So I completed all 5 tasks. I did the 5 in 1. The other thing, there has been a challenge put out on the member of a channel, and the creator has asked members to help with red, white, and blue blankets for the veterans. I didn't know if I would be able to participate or not, but good graces fell my way, and I was able to go get the yarn and do a blanket. This blanket has made me say some really not so nice things. And I had to go back and pray for forgiveness for some of the things that I have said, because I would measure it and it would be one size, and I would add to it 2 or 3 rounds and go back and measure, and it would say like it had only grown an inch. And I knew better. I knew better. I knew better. But I keep this section clear in front of me for the sake of measuring. And it wasn't measuring properly. But today, good grace would have it that I did measure from the outer seam to the outer seam. I didn't even go from the middle to the outside this time. I went from the outer seam to the outer seam, and it is right at 40 inches. I have a side, I have a side and about 2/3 to go. And the rest of this, well, maybe 3/4. And then this whole side to go. And it'll be done. And I'm grateful. I started this because tonight I would like for you all to join me as I join Lori of Lori Stories and Crochet as we talk about our stitcherhood journeys. If you know anyone who is going through, has been through, or you see warning signs or whatever, to hear serious talks about DV, tonight is a good time. It's a no holds bar conversation, and it did not shrink. Don't say that. Don't say that. I will go grab every meal in this apartment complex after I wash it and say, just pull until I say I'm satisfied. It'll be 96 inches by the time I get to I'm sorry, y'all. Okay. Okay, so yeah. Just like I said, just a very open and honest conversation. The different forms of DV, possibilities, um, the lingering effects, like I said, things that if you Also from the perspective of if it's not you, but you think someone you know may be going through, things that you can look for. For those of you who don't know, I am a survivor of DV. Um, it's domestic violence. And I'm the one who will be interviewed. And my therapy is talking about my journey. I don't approach it anymore from a sad place because I'm here. And I'm very happy to be here. I do know that a lot of what I go through medically is due to some of the physical things that I went through, the unnecessary physical things that I went through in my past. And I still look at the fact that I'm here. You know, I can wake up and smile. And if sharing my story will help someone else, then I'm more than delighted to share it. I am. I don't want anyone to go through even a small portion of what I've been through, you know, and many others like me that I know that I don't know. So please come check us out at Lori's Stories and Crochet. And if I'm not mistaken, that's going to be 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Hello, Robin. How are you, love? So happy to see you. I keep hoping that I can get Hadijah in here. I need to ask her if y'all, did you check out the thumbnail when you came in? Did you see that beautiful turtle? I want to change my profile picture. I really want to change my profile picture, and I want to change it to. I still want the turtle, but I want the shell to be crochet. Yes, I want the shell to be crochet. That turtle was absolutely, and this is Hadijah and I will pick something from the live that day, and she'll turn it into this beautiful picture. There's the one before that was me with a journal, and it's like I'm sitting at a I don't know what you call it, a coffee shop, you know, and I have my journal in hand because y'all know how I am every week. Every week, I'm reminded 3 times a week at least. I'm reminding y'all to write in your journals. Take notes in your journals. Different things you go throughout your day, put it in your journal. If you have any medical events, put it in your journal. Sonic is in his container. I did not take Sonic's shell. I have a turtle, guys. I have a box turtle, and I promise you. And hey, Gail, how are you? What part of Maryland are you in, Gail? I think you told me before, but we know I'm over 35. My mind will go in a heartbeat. Oh my goodness. But yeah, everything. Write everything in your journal. If you need more than one kind of journal, it's not a bad thing. I have one for my crafting, for my crocheting. I have one for my doctor. I have one for my YouTube. hmm I was so bad at one time, y'all. I had one for my clothes. I did. That's when I had a lot of clothes. And then I realized I don't need a lot of clothes. I just need to put my clothes where they can be reached. It's time to do laundry. But then I helped myself out there too because I just ordered 11 dresses. 11. Yes, 11 dresses. But they're not on mine. They're not on mine. Temple Hills Road. Is that close to Suitland or Silver Springs? Seems like I remember it being close to there. Because we used to bowl in Suitland. We would stay in Silver Springs, but we bowled in Suitland. Yeah, it's in the 80s here as well. That's why I'm inside under the fan and AC. Uh-huh. Sure am. But one of them one of them has a saying on it that says something to the effect of, I'll love you more if you let me sleep. It is baking there. I am in Hampton, Virginia. I am on the peninsula in Virginia. I'm where the collision of waters, over here by the James River, the Chesapeake Bay, and the Atlantic Ocean, and the Elizabeth River. I'm where all of that converges. Okay, 78. Yeah, we're in the 80s. We're in the 80s. Uh, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Mm-mm. Now I do have my choice of beaches. I do. Uh, we've got Fort Monroe, military base, of course. We've got the James River, um, which is right over by the Newport News Naval Shipyard. We've got Buckrow Beach. I don't go to Buckrow Beach. Mm-mm. I'll let y'all look it up and figure out why. Michelle! I just got through talking about you. Yes, I did. And I'm going to tell y'all again since she's here. Y'all know how I do. Please, please, please go check out Yes, Michelle Crochets. She has what's called the Cozy Encyclopedia, where she takes stitches and she breaks down the anatomy of each stitch and tells you how to use it, how best to use it, how not to use it, mistakes that we make. And I love her transparency because one thing I learned very early, I don't buck the system, but um the lady who taught me to crochet always pointed out the three loops to the half double crochet. But I learned as I in my journey that a lot of people don't see the three loops or they're not familiar with the three loops. And I don't argue it because it's not one that a lot of people will recognize, you know, and how I see things may not be how someone else sees things. But what I love about what Michelle does is, like I said, she takes each stitch and she breaks it apart. I never saw the single crochet and I say umbrella, but it's having two legs and an umbrella. It just never dawned on me to see it that way. The first thing I said was two legs and a bang. But, just to break it down like that, to simplify it like that. And I'm like, that is so neat. But then again, she's a neat person. Michelle is a beautiful spirit. She absolutely is. She really is. And then on Saturday mornings, you can catch her in the Stitch Circle, where you must bring your beverage of choice and your whip and sit back, listen to music, get into the vibe of things, and just have fun. Absolutely, Michelle. I don't know if you saw it or not, but that's right, a crown. This is my neckerchief. And I covered all 5 of the challenges from Wildcard Wednesday Challenge Week. It's red, white, and blue. It's cotton. I use peaches and cream. I think it's called Beach House. And it is, my ends are sewn in. I posted it on this page. And it's a neckerchief. I did that. I rock. I did. Excuse me. And I'm finishing this up now. I have a little less than a round to go, and I'll be finishing that and throwing it in the washing machine. I do have, I think I added about 10 stitches to this since the last time we saw it. So this is the sister's blanket. It's a 4-round repeat. I don't know what I did with, wait a minute. There are 2 blankets that I started, and I don't know what I did with the beginnings of them. I don't know. I have no idea. But it's 77 rows. And I've done the first 15 rows of blankets. Okay. Thank you, Michelle. Love you. That's fine, Tina. I understand. Have fun and be careful. You too, Michelle. Please be careful. But yes. So that's going to be part of the mission today. This is probably what you'll see me working on tonight when I'm with Lori, more than likely. Because I can't do the other 2 because I have to watch TV while I'm working on it because that's where it's a tutorial and I have to follow. It's a crochet along. So I have to follow that. Yo, I really don't know what I did with it. But this is simply a corner to corner. It's a it's going to be a scrap corner to corner. This wine is what I'm working on for right now. I took a bag that I had that had some balls of yarn in it. So these are going to be the next colors, kind of picking randomly as I go. And when I finish that handful, then I'll look somewhere else where I have scrap yarn and pull another one. Thank you, Robin. Okay, so I did not give you all the healthometer today. I did tell you some of the things that I have been facing throughout the week. So as of today, my mood is kind of up here somewhere. It kind of jumped off the Richter scale. Before I go into the rest of that, some of you know that I have been fighting and struggling with my insurance company. And the last time we had something happen, we were like, great, things are moving in the right direction. We're going to keep our fingers crossed that they continue that way. We had a hiccup yesterday. And it was so funny because as I was telling the lady on the phone the things that I had gone through, she was able to verify it in her system. And she says, You know, people tell us that they go through things, not realizing that we can look in our system and follow the trail to see what was actually true and what wasn't. And she's like, but here you are, you're literally going through it. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, 4 years. 4 years I've been fighting to get an in home nurse or to get my daughter paid as being my in home nurse. 4 years since 2022. Hmm. And it has not happened yet. Thank you so much, baby. I appreciate you. And it has not happened yet. And it's more than frustrating to know that this is a system ultimately. I've worked since I was 5 years old. I started working in my aunt's store, sitting on this tall stool behind the cash register, ringing people up and making sure I give them back the proper change. How at 5 could I do that? Because my grandfather started training me at the age of 3 on how to count money. When I was 4, I made my first purchase in the store. I bought a hammer. I bought a child's hammer. It was real. And it's really called a cabinet maker's hammer because it was so lightweight. But when I took it up to the register, the lady told me it was 42 cents. 4 years old. I gave her a quarter, a dime, a nickel, and 2 pennies. This was a very different time in a very different place. This is back in Selma, North Carolina, where I definitely seen and talked about, spoken out loud. So she called me a strange name that I wasn't used to. I'm looking at my friend like, did she call me something that sounded like a piglet? What? You know, I didn't understand what it meant then, but at any rate, I paid for my hammer. So by the time I went to work in my aunt's store, I knew how to count money, how to accept money, and give back proper change. So I've been doing this since I was 5, working, that is. Started having taxes taken out at the age of 18. What you need? Okay. But started having taxes taken out at the age of 18. I have worked. I have worked. So, with that being said, and taxes coming out of my money, I have paid into the government systems that I now need. I'm not asking for anyone else's help. I'm asking to use the money that I paid into this. I've been doing this my whole life. And when the doctor made that phone call back in October of 2020 and told me that my last day of work was the week before and that he had already faxed my job, I did not think that I would be fighting for 4 years to get a nurse to come take. I didn't know I would be in this shape, but I really didn't think that I would be fighting for 4 years to utilize the service that I paid into. That just, it blows my mind. And if I could find the right people to get in contact with to make it better, trust me, I would. My grandson asked me, Mama, if you were the president, what would you do? You know, he said, if you were mayor, what would you do? I said, the first thing I would do is knock everybody's rent off by 10%, 10% right off the top. And then we work on lowering it to a pace that people could afford. Because I don't think they realize the more we pay into the economy, the better our economy. But when you got to take everything you have and give it to a rental office and gas, and then they raising prices on everything else, we're spending less, which is causing us to go backwards. It's simple math. The math into the size of this blanket may not be working out, but the big stuff, I can math that real good. I can math that real good. But yeah, a lot of things would be different if things were available. And that availability is one of the biggest things. So That is my sermon for the day. Guys, I have had so much fun, and I always do with you guys, and you just don't know how happy you make me, how much you do for me. Back to the healthometer. As far as aches and pains and things, nothing more than usual. So I keep that at an even keel, 9.75 or 10, which makes today a 10. Yay! A big 10. I love you guys with everything in me, but my main focus is that you concentrate on loving you, because self love is the greatest love of all. And you can't love others the way they deserve to be loved unless you first love yourself the way you deserve to be loved. And you, my friend, my sisters, deserve the best. Remember, Kitty Lane told you. Remember, Kitty Lane loves you. So until we see each other again on these YouTube streets, good night, everybody. I love you. Peace out.